You're jerking off reminded me of something. When I was a teenager, which was a long time ago, I come up with this theory that when guys did the jerk off motion, it was as big as their girth. So I shared this with a friend of mine. I was all like, yeah, we'll just ask guys to do jerk off motion. So we were like all day. We're like, hey, can you do the jerk off motion? Sure. No one would even question it. Be like, or at the end of the day, we're like, hey, this kid named Rudy, we're like, hey, do the jerk off motion. He's like, my friend's like, whoa. So anyway, if you want to know your friend's girth size, that's my theory to that. You guys do the Facebook and networking? No? Now you know. Yeah, that's why I always do it close-fisted. So no one will ever know. Facebook, and they made a movie called The Social Network. Right. Now, it would be great if you deleted someone and they died in real life. I think that would be a better movie. So, I've been in New York since February, so I'm sort of a newbie here. There's a lot of things about New York that you gotta learn, and the only thing to do is go out and learn it yourself. Like, you get off of a train and you start walking around, and you're pretty sure you know where you're going, and you're like 3 blocks, like avenue blocks the wrong way. And like you do that like 4 or 5 times in a day and you're worn out. Or like you're on one platform and everybody else is on the other platform and you're way out in Queens and the train comes and picks them all up and you're stuck waiting. Happens. I moved to New York mainly because the women here are beautiful. Like everywhere I go, I walk in the signs, just turning my head, running into these women on the train, and they're just beautiful, and I can't help myself. And like sometimes, like it's a great world, and you'll just sit down. There's this beautiful girl, and you swear she's into you, and your eye fucking, and the train stops. All these people get on, and you can't see her anymore, and it's like the ugliest people in the world, Or sometimes I'll just get like 5 average women and place their body parts together to make the perfect one, But like when I first got here, everywhere I went, like I tried my southern swag because I came up from Tampa, You can't walk slow in New York. You can't. People just run you over. And it was like 2:30 at night. People are just pummeling through me. I'm like, where is everyone going? And I get to the train just as it's leaving. And it's like 3 in the morning. So it's not going for 50 minutes. Lesson learned. But as it pulls away, you see the little train director that shut the door looking all smug at you, right? Because he just made it. And you're thinking, I want to punch that motherfucker. But you remember that little sign that says 7 years assault for hitting these bastards. Lesson learned. I moved to Harlem. Lesson, don't move to Harlem. So I get to Harlem, and here's one thing you don't say when you get to Harlem. Get out of the way, white male coming through. White male. Pisses some people off. But when they get pissed, they come up to me, I'm like, hey, MTA employee, 7 years now. Not worth your time. So, originally from New Hampshire, Manchester, apparently home of a lot of great comedians like Adam Sandler. Apparently, my cousin went to school with this guy, my sister. He was really chasing my cousin down, but she didn't want to go out with him because he was a dork. And I bet she regrets that shit. Seth Meyers, Josh Myers, a couple people I went to West High School with, ended up being like in Pee Wee Herman show I saw the other day. Recommend Pee Wee. So, moved to Tampa. I was mostly in bands there. I was in a ska band called Magadog. We did a lot of touring. And a lot of things can happen when you're in an 8-piece band and a merch guy. Travel with other bands, and that's fun. You get in their van, and after a couple of weeks, you start switching the rides up, and you're like, hey, what's going on, And they start talking about their band members, and you're like, you hate your band members too, huh? It happens. It's like that odd relationship. But one night, we were out for 2 months at a time, and I was driving in the middle of the night, and our keyboard player, Jim's next to me, everybody else is passed out, and I'm going 70 down the road, and it's dark, got to pull an all-nighter to get to the next town. And our singer, Ed, jumps up. He's like, and he's right behind me. And I was all like, he's drinking. I'm like, what the fuck? He catches and composes himself. He's like, I had a dream that I drove off the road and couldn't get back on. I laughed. I'm like, I got And I drove a lot because you could control the stereo as a driver. So a couple weeks later, same scenario. I'm driving. It's the middle of the night. Jim's next to me sleeping. And I go off the road, and I couldn't get back on the road. It's a 15-passenger van with a trailer, and I'm trying to get it back on the road. And I'm just going towards the fucking trees. Like, there's no way to get this thing back on. And I'm fucking screaming, "Ah!" And I get up, and Ed's all like, "What's wrong?" And I was just like, holy shit, I had that same dream. So, I thought it was amusing. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.